श्री 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 राधा माधव अष्ट सखी की जय। श्री श्री पंच तत्व भगवान की जय। नरसिंहदेव की जय। श्रीदम मायापुर धाम की जय। Hare Krishna. A very, very warm welcome to everybody for this morning's Japa Yagna. As always, on behalf of my leader, I'd like to thank all those people who had come perform their Japa lead services. Now we move on to the next part, which is the Srimad Bhagavatam discussion for the next 15-20 minutes. Before I start, let me do a very short kirtan. जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जयो गांधर्विक गिरिधारी गौर हरि जयो लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जयो अनंत दे लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जयो अनंत दे नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, titled Dhritarashtra Quits Home. We are discussing today 5th verse. प्रतियुग्मगः प्रहारसेना प्राणां तन्मा इवागतम् अभिसंगम्य विधिवत् परिस्वङ्गा अभिवादानहि। Word to word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The translation is, with great delight, they all approached him as if life had returned to their bodies. They exchanged obeisances and welcomed each other with embraces. Purport is very small, so we'll read it. In the absence of consciousness, the limbs of the body remain inactive. But when consciousness returns, the limbs and the senses become active. The existence of itself becomes delightful. Vidura was so dear to the members of Kaurava family, and that his long absence from the palace was comparable to inactivity. All of them were feeling acute separation from Vidura, and therefore his return to the palace was joyful for all. Hare Krishna. So before we start, I'll tell the prayers so that I can seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas, all the previous Acharyas, and my Guru and Srila Prabhupada. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjalashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Udapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूत श्रीमद स्वामी के नाम गौर दामोदर नगर दामोदर श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Hare Krishna. So, again, warm welcome. We are in the fifth verse. It says, with great delight, they all approached him as if life had returned to their bodies. Approached him, Mani Vidurji. They exchanged obeisances and welcomed each other with embraces. So, such a wonderful purport. Very, though its purport is very small, there's a very lot of profound uh, you know, points which we can pick it up. So, firstly, again, I would like to seek the blessings of Vaishnavas so that I speak in the right mode in the line of the Parampara and it's pleasing to all the Vaishnavas. Needless to say, this is a service I'm doing for my own purification. So, in the previous verse, we learned that first of all, great personalities were being described by Srila Prabhupada, all the Kaurava family. Okay, and they all felt intense separation from Vidurji. Now, in this verse, it is described that the life has come back to their bodies when they saw Vidurji in the palace. They're so ecstatic, they're happy. That was a sentiment and feeling they were expressing in this verse. So, what happened? They exchanged obeisances, they embraced each other on seeing him. So Srila Prabhupada, as I said, is making some very, very important and profound points in this purport. Okay, so we will try and keep those one or two points for the discussion for today. So Vidura, Srila Prabhupada says Vidura was so dear to the members of the Kaurava family and that his long absence from the palace was compared to inactivity. So one of the points for the discussion we will have today is how to become dear to devotees of Krishna. See, we may have heard so many lectures, how to become dear to Krishna. Okay. Today, let's focus on how to become dear to devotees of Krishna, as they are the medium, or we can say channel to reach closer to Krishna, right? So another beautiful point is there. When the members of Kaurava family felt intense separation from Vidura. So again, we might have heard many examples from Srimad Bhagavatam, especially the separation of gopis of Vrindavan. But today we also focus on the how devotees feel because the separation from the devotees of Krishna. So both the points are there, how to become dear and how we will feel the separation from devotees. So we are all aware that the personality what we are talking about is Vidura, and we are referring to the members of Kuru dynasty. Now, what is that quality Vidura had that the family members were feeling missing him, right? So, as I said, many famous personalities was discussed. Let's just take one or two from there in the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. Kunti Maharani. We have to go through a little bit of Mahabharata to understand that. How Vidura played a very important role in their lives of the Vaishnavas, as a result of which Vidura became dear to him. If you take the Pandavas, for example, first, you all know it was a very famous incident. Vidura was the one who saved them from when they were in Varnavat, the house of wax, that is. And then it was all design of an architect, Purochana and Duryodhana, very strategically, very wickedly planned to kill all of them. It was very, enigmatic and strategic, that is, to devise a plan to bring them all out in the burning home. I mean, the house which could have been burned, right? And this was the plot by whom? Dhritarashtra. And who executed the plot was the evil son Duryodhana, right? And that he played a very, very important role in ensuring they all were out of the house. Now, Kunti Maharani, if you take Kunti Maharani, you know that Pandavas had gone to the forest twice. It was the first time when the Pandavas had gone to the forest during incognito period. That is after this burning of this house. That is for a good amount of time. But this time, the next time when they went, that was after the gambling match, right? That Kunti Maharani was also along with them. Now, the second time around, uh, uh, Vidura had approached Yudhishthira Maharaj and told him that, look, Vidurji, Kunti Maharani has become old. She no longer can bear the austerities of the forest life. So please, can you send her to me so that I can take care of her? Now, Yudhishthira Maharaj really was pleased to hear Vidura, the compassion he had towards his mother, and she was old, and he accepted the offer. And it's described in the Mahabharata that Vidurji and Sulabha, that is wife of Vidura, took such good care of Kunti Maharani and provided solace whenever she was lonely. Even pacified Kunti Maharani, especially when all those moments when she was separated from devotees. I'm referring to Pandavas, the sons. So this way, Vidurji had supported Kunti Maharani also. Again, from the pages of Bhagavatam, we can see how Draupadi is glorified. It was Vidura who was supported Draupadi during this disrobing event. Dushashan, it was Vidura who, among the few who came up and screamed, he shouted, opposed vehemently at Duryodhana. How evil can you be, right? It was not easy to oppose Duryodhana and shut him down, right? Duryodhana absolutely came up, and he, in fact, he sent Vidurji out by telling him that you are born from a Shudra, Dasi Putra, how dare you instruct me, you're instructing Kshatriya and things like that, and get out of the palace, and you're a disgusting person. So much of insult he had to bear, but it was he who stood up and opposed, right? You take this particular episode which we are all going through, the Dhritarashtra's quitting. Even there, it was Vidura who came as a well-wishing friend. He came and made him realize he's entangled in this material life, and he is the one who motivated him to get out. What are you doing sitting and enjoying privileges of this royal kingdom? Then, see, Vidura, was thinking, what is wrong with this person? How do I make him realize? See, the point here, Prabhujis and Matajis, I would like to emphasize is that Vidura could have thought, right, because he had sufficiently warned him. Throughout his life, he's been advising him, right? He tried to give the best of the advice, right from the birth of Duryodhana to maybe just before the war. He kept on advising. He could have said, look, no point telling this. I'll take sannyasa. I'll focus on my spiritual sadhana, right? I'll be absorbed in hearing Harikatha. He could have done that, right? But he still was a well-wisher, a well-wishing friend of Dhritarashtra. Now, we learned that he played a very important role in Pandavas, Kunti Maharani, Draupadi, Dhritarashtra. Now, what is the common thread in all these above instances? The common thread is Vidura was a well-wishing friend for everyone. He was always coming out of his comfort zone and extending himself to Vaishnavas. That is very important. That is the lesson we learn from the life of Vidura. Right? He was not only, this was not only for Vaishnavas, for all those people who was clutches of Maya. Right? Probably whenever we say of Maya, I remember only His Holiness Bhakti Nityananda Maharaj, who says, we are the ones who are holding Maya tightly. This was the mood of Vidura, being the well-wishing friend of Dhritarashtra. This is one of the quality which made him dear to everyone. Now, we shall also see two wonderful examples, one from Srimad Bhagavatam, right? How devotees extended themselves to Vaishnavas and became very dear, and how they earned the blessings of the fellow Vaishnavas. One example was, I'm sure all of you know, Prevat Maharaj, Prince. So he was getting trained under Narada Muni. At that time, Lord Brahma himself came down and asked him to rule because that was necessary. Very reluctantly, he accepted the offer and services because it was a service, and he was that too given directly from Brahma. Right. Now, what happened? He got involved in it. He got consumed by all the riches of being a king, being in the family, lovely family. At that time, it was Brahma who personally came and saved him. Saved him, reinstated not only back to his services for the Supreme Lord, right? How this happened? Because personally Brahma had came, and that was a blessing. That was a protection. The blessing was the protection he got, and once again being reinstated to his devotional service. There's something very, very wonderful we all would have heard about in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There is this loving exchange between Ishwara Puri and Madhavendra Puri. Ishwara Puri extended himself so much for his guru. His guru could not, at one point, he was so incapacitated, he could not move. So much so that he had passed stool and urine in his bed. It was Ishwara Puri, who was a devout disciple of Madhavendra Puri, doing all his menial services, always serving him. And by that, what happened? He got used to, because Madhavendra Puri was always sharing pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So this way, he could narrate. Madhavendra Puri could always narrate. And it's a disciple who was the reason for Madhavendra Puri for remembering Krishna in his last days. I mean, that's the way we need to see this. Imagine a disciple is directly helping his spiritual master to remember Krishna as the Lord at the point of death. How wonderful. Now, what did Ishwara Puri get as a blessings? Blessing was Krishna Prema. He said, may you be bestowed with the love of Godhead. What a wonderful blessing, right? This is what happens if if you go that extra mile and go do that extra service to Vaishnava. Now we have contemporary examples. How can we forget Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj? I heard one instance where Srila Prabhupada was traveling and he had reached Bhaktivedanta Manor. And the moment he heard that His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj is there, he called and he said, I want to meet him personally. I think he was known as Ghanshyam Prabhu before. Anyway, so he came, but Prabhupada was addressing devotees. He sat in one distance. He said, the moment Prabhupada came to know His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj is there, he said, come near me. Why are you sitting so far? Come near me. Right? And when he came, he gave a nice hug and nicely brushed his hand on his head. And he told him, your life is successful. You will go back home, back to Godhead. I mean, can you directly Prabhupada telling, it was the blessing given by Srila Prabhupada to Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. Why is it so? Because Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj always extended himself to just to please, just for the pleasure of Vaishnavas and Sri Guru. And he always